of Technology. And currently, I am pursuing electronics and telecommunication engineering. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you. Samarpita.
Good evening, everyone. This is Samarpita Saha. I'm currently pursuing my BTech in Computer Science Engineering from KIT University, Bhubaneswar. Thank you.
Thank you. Anshul Kumar.
Good evening, everyone. I am Anshul Kumar from DY Patil Institute of Technology, Pimpri, Pune. I am pursuing my BE in electrical, and thank you.
So there will be more people joining, so let me get started anyhow. So my name is Vishal. I'm the founder of Learning While Traveling, and we do this startup night out every Friday. We invite people from startup community to share their journey about their struggles and ups and downs, etc. So we can learn things. And we are recording this session, and we'll put this on YouTube so that people who couldn't join today, can also access that video. So yeah, okay. So today we have Mr. Deepak Nanda, the founder and director of Bodhi Tree Foundation. So over to you, Mr. Deepak. So the first question or first thing, you can just tell us in brief who you are and what's your company about, and yeah, then we'll come up with more questions.
Surely. Thank you so much, Vishal. So first of all, I'll be more comfortable if everyone switches on the videos so that I could interact face to face. It's not a compulsion, but it's my request only. So my name is Deepak Nanda. So by profession, I am a mechanical engineer. I am from 1979 batch and have about 43 years of experience with me. I have worked with multinational industries for about 20 years, and for about 23 years, I am in social sector. So in the multinational companies, I served Escorts, Hero Honda Motors, SRF, and similar industries. And as far as the social sector is concerned, I served many small, medium, as well as large social sector companies. So small and medium, you people might not be knowing, but bigger one, I think you must be knowing: World Bank Group, International Finance Corporation, UNDP, APCTD, United Nations. So like all these companies, I used to be a social sector consultant. So this is a brief about me.
Sure.
Why I opened Bodhi Tree?
Yeah, why? Like if you go to your day 0 or day -1 rather, what was the thought process that made you start whatever you started?
Yes, and that's what I was coming to actually. So from a very childhood, I wanted to do something in the social sector companies. But when I was young, so it was very popular that NGOs are mostly corrupt. They take money for poor and they eat up major part of that. So I was very scared of joining any NGO. It was later in early 20s, rather not early 20s, late 90s, that I encountered an American non-profit making company, which I came to know was really working for the poorest of the poor in India. So I joined that company as a head of their technical section, and I served them for 5 years. So serving them for 5 years and going to the poorest of the poor in India, that changed my perspective. That I could never imagine otherwise that such things are there in India. Because the places I visited, I was wondering whether I'm in India or I don't know where I am. So that type of my good experience, then I thought that now no one can stop me. And first thing I'll tell you, you youngsters, that if you want to do something, your desire should be a burning desire. Without that burning desire, it is very difficult to get success. And that was the point when I left that company, organization. I thought that I have to work in social sector. And that was the point where I started my journey in the social sector as a consultant. Now working with small, medium and larger, bigger social sector companies, I had the feeling of everything. What is there in small, what is there in medium, and what is there in larger. And that was the point when I knew ins and out of the social sector. So something came to my mind that I want to open my own organization. And if I open my own organization, how it will look like. So I used to think, I don't know in my lifetime, I'll be able to, start up a new organization or not. But I used to think that in case I am able to do it, how it will look like. And there was a point that on 11th of August 2016, the birth of Bodhi Foundation as a Section 8 company under Ministry of Corporate Affairs, Government of India, we opened. So initially for 1 year, I worked in the rural areas. I don't want to take the name of corruption, but so many things were there that later I realized this is not my cup of tea. No, I'll not work there. So I just left there, and we thought of doing something in education. When we thought of doing something in education, see, as I told that my desire was to have the best organization possible with my experience to do it. So we started searching for the slum areas in Delhi. It took about 2.5 months to find out a real slum area in west of Delhi, that is Raghubir Nagar, where we could see a real slum. At that time, I was there, my wife was there, my friend was there, and his wife was there. Of course, his children were also there. So we all started searching that now how to start this education project. So that was such a dirty place that my wife and my friend's wife, they never, wanted to enter the streets. Those are so dirty and so narrow streets. Their houses are of 12.5 square yards, 15 square yards, like this. But we did enter there. We went door to door to find out how many school-going children are there. They never had faith on us that who we are. We used to tell them our identity. With lots of efforts, we got about 7 students of class 4. And we 2 couples started teaching those 7 kids there, sitting at their locality, spreading daris and teaching them there. This is September 2018 when we started this. We started teaching 7 kids and 4 teachers. It was exactly 18 months, 1 year and 6 months when March 2020 came and the lockdown happened. My dear youngsters, can you imagine growth in 18 months from 4 students to more than 250 students, from 4 teachers to more than 40 teachers, from 1 location to 4 different locations in that area only, from 1 class to 8 classes. So that was the really hard work, because we knew that we have to do hard work, because going to their places daily and so much of growth, that 32 classes happening simultaneously within 18 months. was something no one imagines. And in locality, we had so much of say that like we are kings there. People started respecting us so much for that and so much of growth. But what happened? Everything came to standstill because poor children you can't teach online because they don't have mobile phones and data and everything. And you can't go to their places to find who has phone and who doesn't have phone. So just imagine such a steep growth and everything came to standstill. So my dear friends, here I want to tell you that we have to never give up. This never give up spirit always helps. When the lockdown happened, I had many good sources in social sector because I have worked with so many good companies and everyone knew me. I contacted everyone that what to do. Everyone said that now you can't teach the slum children, better start teaching urban children. That's the only way. But my never agreed to this because burning desire was there to help the poor. I was always daily having meetings with my family members that what to do. I want to teach poor slum children only. And it took about 3 months. It was June 2020 when we got 25 children out of our more than 250 children, that is 10%, who were having mobile phones. And in June 2020, we started teaching those 25 kids. So that was type of victory. After a month, all my family members means everyone, all the basically volunteers working with us, they wanted to celebrate. We celebrated, but there was something in my eyes. I was not happy. Why I was not happy? Because in whole the month, we were able to increase only 3 students from 25 to 28. And the reason, because we can't go to their places due to lockdown. And all the mobile phones had, finished in the locality. There was no hope. That was a time I had a meeting with my family members, that is my volunteers. And I said, okay, this is a good thing that we have started teaching some children online. And we have 28 children. But can we go for Pan India? Can we spread our wings? So everyone said, sir, we are with you. If you feel like this, we must do it. But my dear friends, when we started planning for that, so we realized that it is a very difficult journey. Because sitting in Delhi, getting children from all over India was very, very difficult. At present, today also, this is the biggest challenge for us. Then suppose we go to South, any state in South. So their language barrier is there. We need teachers also speaking the same language. We need administration also for the same language. I mean, and how many teachers you have to appoint? You don't know. Whether you appoint teachers first or you get students first. So many questions were there. But again, my team was such a team. They said, sir, keep on guiding us. We will work. we will achieve something. And today, we are present in 14 states, and every month we are adding new states, 1 or 2 new states. We keep on adding. We have a family of more than 120 volunteers. We have 8 departments, including HR, web designing, social media marketing, quality management system, all these things. So this is something we achieved. Before I ask you people to ask anything, I will like to tell you one very unique thing, which I discussed in the beginning, that I had a desire that in case in my lifetime, if I am able to open my own organization, how it will look like. So I had 3 things in my mind, and we had these 3 things from very first day. So these 3 things are: first is, we don't believe in formal culture. We believe in total family culture. All the senior persons are available 24/7. Anyone is free to talk to anyone. There is no hierarchy system. You can talk official things, you can talk personal things, you can take guidance in anything, you can do mistakes and learn. Very good atmosphere. At least in my tenure of 43 years, I have never seen such an organization which has such a good culture. Second thing I wanted to have, to empower youth. Everyone says that they empower youth. We also empower youth. And you will be happy to know that more than 90% of Bodhi Foundation family, we call it family members actually. So again and again, I'm telling family member. When I say family member, please understand this is, I'm talking about all the volunteers. So more than 90% of Bodhi Foundation family, they are of the age 18 to 25. So it means Bodhi Tree Foundation is completely run by volunteers of young men, basically, young people. If 10-15% senior persons are there, they are only there to handhold them, to guide them, basically, to support them. And the third value, we empower women. Nowadays, every organization says that we empower women. If I tell you something about Bodhi Foundation, more than 85% of Bodhi Foundation family is young girls of 18 to 25. No common organization in India can afford this, because with more than 85% young girls, the organization becomes very sensitive, and running such an organization without any default becomes extremely difficult. But we are successful. And why we are successful? Because of our values, ethics, our family culture, we are successful. So this is in short my journey. So now, Vishalji, I don't know.
So yeah,
How
what all things you are teaching and which age group? What things you are teaching? What subjects you are teaching? Which age group?
we are teaching. Okay, I forgot to mention a very important thing. I'll mention now. We started teaching class 1 to 7, and every year we increase 1 year. And today we are teaching class 1 to class 10. We teach class 1 to class 5 all subjects. Class 6, 7, 8 we are teaching science, mathematics, English and SST. And class 9, 10th we are teaching science, mathematics and English. And from the last 1 year, we were trying to do something for those who have never gone to school. But educating them is not a easy task because a common teacher cannot teach them. For that, there are special teachers. You need to train teachers first. And from the last, I think 7 weeks, we have started initiative of educating those who have never gone to school, irrespective of their age. And we have successfully launched this. Already we have more than 20 such students of different ages, including 23 years, 24 years, and we are regularly educating them who have never gone to school. And this is something I tell you, fantastic, because even our teachers are loving teaching them. And we had on 11th, 2 days back, our 5th annual day function. And those children also who had never gone to school, they participated. I have certain videos. Later, if you want, you can contact me. I can send you those videos also. And this on 11th, our annual general meeting was live on Facebook, and that's completely recorded also. Thank you.
Sure. And these students all study free of cost, or they pay a minor sum?
Sir, your voice is very low. I'm unable to get
My
you.
voice, is it better now?
Yeah.
So I'm asking, do these students pay anything, or is it completely free of cost you are providing them?
See, our criteria when we used to teach offline, our criteria of underprivileged was very different. We used to see the income of parents and so, where they stay, which school they study. But when we started teaching online, we basically relaxed our criteria. Now our criteria is, number one, any school going child whose parents cannot afford tuition. And number second, who has access to any device or mobile phone. Of course, we are trying very hard because we find many students who really want to study, but they don't have even smartphone. And we are trying very hard to, contact common public that if we get old smartphones as donation, so that we could give to those who have never, who don't have the smartphones. So we are trying hard to do this, and our this year's target is that we should leave no such child who can study and can't study due to even mobile phone. And I am sure we will crack down this also, and we will be able to provide even mobile phones to those who really need them.
But so now the online class, are you not charging them anything, like making it free of cost?
It's
completely?
100% free of cost, sir. We don't charge anything from anyone. Rather, when we were teaching offline, we used to provide notebooks, pen, pencil, eraser, sharpener, all these things we used to provide. And that time, everything was, even now, we don't have any source of funds, and any expenses done at that time also and now also. We are two directors. We used to divide, and that is all from our pocket. Mr. Mukesh Talwar is the other director, and we spend 50% from our pockets, 50-50.
Okay. But don't you think with this giving completely free thing,
Sir, your voice is breaking, sir. Your voice is breaking.
my
Please.
voice, I think should be okay, because I am using my feedback. Anyway, so question is, do you think this whole free education can be exploited by the people who don't need it, but still will pretend that they are poor and say that, okay, can I get the free thing?
That is what I told, that we have decided tomorrow, suppose we have some mobile phones and we want to give it. We are not going to advertise in open that yes, we can provide mobile phones also. This will be at the sole discretion of our volunteers, that really if they feel that yes, mobile phone should be provided to certain fellow, then only we will provide. We will not admit open that we provide this also.
Sure. That might be a bit harder at times, but yeah, surely can be.
Sir, actually,
off.
we have seen many challenges, and we came out of each and every challenge, and our whole team is a team which never gives up.
So my next question
We are
is,
confident, we are
how did
confident.
you
Any struggle
form a team like this? How will
Yeah,
you find? How did you find people? How did you find people, who can work for less money or no money altogether, when the whole world is pretty much running after money, especially the youngsters?
Sir, there are certain sites who provide volunteers. We take volunteers from there. But one thing is there. I mean, we not only teach children, but train even teachers also. Train even, I mean, when they come for internship, we train them. Like in HR also, we train them. And all the interviews are taken by me along with some of the HR fellows, because I want to train the HR fellows for future. And we are a bit strict while taking interviews, because two things are there. One is we need like-minded people, and in our criteria, one of the major marks is social angle, that how much social angle the person is having. And second thing, we are very careful when some boys come for interview. So we tell them very openly that in our organization, if you are selected, you don't have to show anything manly here, and you have to respect women. We are such an organization. And by the grace of God, if 10%, 15% boys are there, all are like brothers and sisters. It's a very good atmosphere, I tell you. See, many times if someone asks me about my family, so I tell them I have about 100 daughters and about 20 sons. That's the culture we have created.
Did you face any problem with your team? Sometimes conflicting interests, people come and leave, and those kind of intention issue.
Yeah, many times problems are there, and many times once during our offline teaching, one of the such boy came who basically a sort of tried to basically misbehave with a girl, and the girl reported me immediately. At that time, I was not in India, I was in Australia. I took immediate action. I called up the boy, I told him that leave the organization immediately. He threatened me. But see, if we're running an organization, we are also something. If we are in a rural area, we are in a slum area, and people respect us, and there are, many bad elements also. And bad elements there always used to respect us. They used to tell us, sir, आपको कोई भी problem होगी, हम यहाँ बैठे हैं. I immediately called up one of the such a bad element that I am facing a problem, please help me. He said, tell me, sir, who is this? We will throw him out. So by this, it was sorted out within a day.
So did you initiate any investigation or something, or on the complaint only? Complaint मिला आपको और आपने fire कर लिया उनको?
The thing was that the complaint of the girl was basically, she called up a few more, even boy also, and everyone talked to me, and they told that this happened, like this happened. We all saw this happening. I said, this is very bad in our organization. It should be first and last. I can't tolerate it.
Sure. And it was also an example for others?
Everyone. The boy was out within moments, and I told him that in case he enters that area, then the consequences will be, I mean, you cannot think what will be there.
Sure. So, so this was, let's say, a harassment case. There might be other cases when maybe you hired a volunteer and the volunteer or employee said they will work, but then they are not working or not working to your satisfaction level. तो ये होता रहता होगा. I mean, 10 में से 2-3 आधे भी निकल जाते होंगे. How do you handle this?
Vishal ji, such cases are negligible cases, but more cases are people come for 3 months and they don't go for even a year. See, day for yesterday on our 5th annual day, I appreciated one fellow who came to us to help us designing our new website for 3 months. And it is more than 15 months. He has not gone. Many cases are there who come for 3 months and they don't leave after 3 months. They say we want to continue. Many such cases are there who once come for 3 or 4 months, go and again come. Actually, what happens that everyone knows, because I talk to them many times, I tell them that once your internship is over, you take a certificate and leave for further studies, higher studies or job. But your membership to Bodhiti Foundation will never expire. You can come back at any time, not only for internship, but even to meet us, help us, meet your old colleagues, meet your children. See, there was a daughter of a colonel who came for 3 months, spent 8 or 9 months, went to some, foreign country, came back, and she called me. She wants to come for 3 days because she is in India and she wanted to teach the same class she was teaching. Just imagine. I said, please come, teach your same class. I told the teacher who was teaching that, please give her space, let her teach. So our membership, see, in our website, we have created a page of family members. Although we are trying to update it, presently it is not updated, but we need to have all the family members there, past and present, which will be more than 400 or something. So those are permanent members. We call them permanent family members. When we call them a family and call them members, they are permanent. All are free to come back anytime.
Sure. So, in your journey, I think previously, like you said, you were working in corporate versus now you are doing this kind of education, online education. So, maybe in corporate, if you have to compare corporate life versus this life, what are the pros and cons of this which you would like to probably give to your youngsters, that why should they do this and not that, or that and not this, or maybe both in some ways? How do you see the comparison?
See, social sector is something, if you really dip into social sector, the amount of satisfaction that gives, you can never find anywhere. I have enjoyed very, lavish life when I was working with the American NGO. So things were very different with me. I spent very, very good times. But when I see this life, today's life, that is very different. The amount of satisfaction there also, when I was really working for the poorest of poor, and today I'm working. I give you one example. I was having some health problems. I got myself checked for heart on 19th of July. My angiography was done. All my 4 arteries of the heart were blocked. On 26th of July, I was having a major bypass surgery. Doctor told me that it will take at least 2 months to resume to our work. And today I am doing my full work. From the last whole week, everyone is amazed that how after such a major bypass surgery, you can get up. Why this happened? Because I had to totally take leave from my organization for about 9 days. And everyone before my surgery told me, sir, you don't worry, we are there. We will handle very nicely. And when after 9 days I resumed, what I saw, which I could not believe. The team had done so nice work, so nice work. There was no disruption, nothing at all. So I was amazed to see that how my training is going on. That is why I thought, no, they have done enough work. Let me help them. And we train so many people very nicely, I tell you. I mean, even see, when the people leave us after internship, we tell them to have around 1 minute or 30-second video that how they felt it. Many interns say this thing, that this is a very good platform to learn in India. Very good platform. They learn so much from here. So there is no comparison of a corporate world and social world, I tell you.
But you are talking about the recovery time that you recovered quite fast with your, let's say, a bigger goal in life, etc. But if we just rewind a bit, you had this bypass also in this your social startup journey also. Does your bypass has any relation to your lifestyle that became your lifestyle, let's say, for the past few years when you jumped into this social sector? I mean, you are saying recovery was fast. How about that? You had to still go through the surgery. Does that surgery had any contribution to the stressful life or
yes, sir, yes,
lifestyle,
sir.
etc.?
Yes, sir. Actually, sir, I had a angioplasty done in 2005. So one stent was already there. It means from that time, something wrong was there and that artery was totally blocked. So I will never say that this had any relation with, this type of work or something, because mind plays a very vital role in our life. And in this work, suppose in a corporate world, you have a stressful life or you work more and stress is there. That stress, the result of that stress. And here even stress is there, you enjoy it.
Sure.
Because
That's a good way of putting it. Stress is both places, but one is a kind of a good stress, one is kind of a bad stress. One is a forced thing which you're not enjoying maybe. Other one is, okay, let's take it as a challenge. Let's take the stress. Let's come out of it.
Yeah, I remember a few moments, like I told, that March 2020 and March 2020 to June 2020. It was a stressful period for me because I had seen so much of success within 18 months and everything came to a standstill. So people have, suffered so much of in their businesses, in their jobs. And for me, it is from 40 teachers to more than 120, 3 times within a year and 3 months, 4 months. So that is basically growth. We have grown in this, pandemic.
Yeah, I think this has happened to many people. Many people thought that
Surely.
सब कुछ खत्म हो गया, फिर then they realize that सब कुछ खत्म तभी होता है जब हम खुद खत्म हो जाते हैं.
खुद खत्म हो जाता है. See, initially I told one thing, कि अगर किसी चीज में काम करना है, if you want to really work, your desire should be a burning desire. If that is not there, it is very difficult. And if that is there, no one can stop you in this world. No one can stop you. If you decide that I have to do this and I'll be able to do this, no one can stop you.
Sure. If anyone has any question, feel free to raise your hand and I'll ask another question. In an entrepreneur's life, there is
Anshul wants to have a
lot of
question. Anshul
sorry.
Anshul want to ask something.
Acha, Anshul, want to ask something? Is it? No, I think he didn't. Yes. Anshul, you want to ask?
He has raised hand.
He raised hand. Oh, okay. Yes, Anshul, please.
He's in mute. He's on
Yeah,
mute.
yeah. He's not. I don't know. He's not responding. Yeah. But anyway, so yes, Anshul, you can feel free to unmute your mic. Aritra wants to ask. Yes, Aritra, please.
Sir, what do you mean by this Bodhi tree family? You are previously were saying something Bodhi tree family.
Yeah. Because I told you that our first value, the three values after this long social sector experience of 22 years. So what I saw there in the organization, small, medium, and larger organization. So I saw their, ins and out, at how they work and what are the things they want to improve. So from there, I derived that if I want to have my own social organization, I will have three values. And the first value was that no formal culture, family culture. So from there, from the very first day, when I appointed first intern with me, I started inculcating that culture there, that me also, and that there was a girl, she also. She should treat me like father-like figure. I should treat her like my daughter. So from there, it kept on moving. So we call it family only. Even when someone joins new and joins a new WhatsApp group, the name of the group is New Family Members.
But sir, you are saying about your employees, right?
Yeah.
But sir, how can employees be like your family? Because you are paying them money. Once you start paying them money, they cannot be your family because
we have
pay
all
money to your
volunteers.
family.
We have all volunteers. We cannot pay anyone. We don't pay anyone.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. So in this, when you don't pay anyone, let's say, how do you maintain the accountability as such? Like, because let's say if there is a pay, there is always a fear of pay cut, or let's say the bonus not coming, etc. if you don't work or not work with a full throttle. So let's say in your organization, let's say if somebody is slacking or slightly slacking, relatively slacking, let's say you have 100 volunteers, not all might be running at the same pace. Some might run slow, some might run fast. How do you decide a matrix to create a performance review of these people?
It's a very, very good question, sir. And if time is there, I want to take 5 minutes to tell you one story.
Yes, please.
Yeah. My son was in Naval Public School, Chanakyapuri. And there the system was the class teacher who is there in the first, same will be in the second, same till fifth, the same class teacher will keep on going. My son Nikhil, who is now a commercial pilot. So luckily he had a teacher who was there from the very first day when the school was opened. Very old teacher was there. So when Nikhil was in third, we used to see his notebooks. He was weak in Hindi, not getting good marks and good remarks. So when we went to the PTA, parents-teacher meeting, so I asked the teacher that how he is doing. She said, good. So I said, he is not good in Hindi. She said, no problem, he will pick up. A whole month went, there was no improvement. Second month again, I asked the teacher, Madam, how is doing? She said, fine. I said, in Hindi, his performance is not good. She said, no problem, he will pick up. So I was fed up. Third month, again the same thing happened. All the month there was no improvement. So I asked, Madam, how is he doing? She said, fine. I said, but Madam, in Hindi, he is not doing well. She said, no problem, Mr. Nanda, he will pick up. So that was the time I asked the teacher. I said, Madam, it is 3 months I'm asking you that he is not doing good in Hindi. And every month there is one response. He will pick up. So I don't know how many months he will take to pick up. So then she sat comfortably, looked towards my eyes, and she told me something which was a learning for me. She said, in my class, there are all type of students. Some work very well, some don't work. Who don't work, I tell them, my dear son, my dear daughter, please do it. If again they don't do, I again tell them, please do it. This is the good way, please do it. Again, if they don't do, I again tell them. So I ask the teacher, suppose 100 times you have told them and they are not doing, what do you do? She said, Mr. Nanda, it is not possible. If with love you keep on telling them, they will do. I have experience, I have taught so many children, they will do. And same theory I always apply in Bodhiti Foundation. If someone does a blunder intentionally, we never scold them. I call them like my sons and daughter, explain them the consequences that what is going to happen to the poor children. So please improve. And believe me, even if they do mistake 3 times, 4 times they improve it. This is a human tendency. And in our organization, we always treat everyone with love. And this year, day before yesterday, I have announced Bodhiti Foundation's Year of Happiness. And I have chalked out an agenda for this also, that how we are going to measure the happiness index. That we each need to ensure that you make the other happy. So for this year, even we are going to mark this next year as a year of happiness. Am I able to answer your question, sir?
Yes, that's true. So but I will do a cross question here. So these were all volunteers. So we were not giving them money. So there is also a mindset that if we are not giving anyone money, usually, I mean, you cannot just scold them just like that, because there is not much. I mean, love is the only way to get the work done. But let's think of it from a commercial point of view. Let's say in corporate, can the same culture be developed that the boss or the company is giving salaries to people and people are just misusing the the opportunity, they're taking the money and still not doing the work and thinking that okay, boss is not saying anything, or boss is so lovable figure, or even my manager is like that. Do you think this culture can be copied in corporate when there is a non-volunteer kind of setting? What do you think about it?
Yes, sir. Actually, one of the major points in this is your selection criteria, whether it is a social organization or a commercial organization. Because I have been involved in many campus interviews and engineering college anywhere. What happens? Like I told you, we have a 7-point criteria when we select a volunteer. And out of that, out of 100, 25 marks are social angle. we try to judge that how much social angle this person is having. And if that person is having a social angle, and same carries good for the commercial organizations also, that if in their selection criteria, there are certain indicators that when they select the person, what type of person they are going to select. Because here, I invite you that you go to any of our classes, any day, you are most welcome. I can give you the basically link and you can go as an observer and see that how much dedication is there in teaching these slum children, how much dedication is there. And that can come only if social angle is there. Similarly, in commercial organizations, if in their mind is there that they are paying me, if such people are there, they are paying me and I have to pay back. I have to pay back. So then the number of defaults and what you're talking about will be very less. You know, and of course, up to some extent, with love, with politeness, by can do. But yes, I know I'm with you that you cannot do 100% in the corporate world. But there, the selection criteria, I'll say that plays a very, very vital role. That how do you select the employee?
So it's
And
a
what
very
are
good point.
of your organization?
Correct. So this contradicts to what the teacher said there, because there might be a student in the class to whom even if you say 100 times, that person will not improve, because there was probably no selection criteria on the commercial end or the social end in that school admission probably. So do you want to rethink that statement again?
Yes, sir. What I feel that if someone is not doing even 100 times, so that student might be good in something, very, very good in something else. Very good in something else, I tell you. And that basically covers that where the student is weak. Ultimately, the meaning of the teacher was that even 100 times, if that is not, the student is not doing, so that student might be very good in something else. So it's okay. That basically balances.
So it's not because of indiscipline so much, it's because of disinterest. So it's like, that guy is probably not made for reading Hindi or reading that subject.
Sir,
which
can
he
you
might
believe
be
one
good
thing?
in.
Sir, can you believe one thing? When I used to take interviews in the corporate world and even for the campus interviews, my way of taking interview was really the same how I take now. I mean, my first agenda was that how to make the candidate most comfortable. Many of the time I used to say the candidates that it's only named that it is an interview, it's not an interview, it's an interaction. And that way I was able to find many of the traits in the candidates which you cannot find otherwise, because when the candidates come for interview, they are well prepared. Even they get training from so many professionals also, that we are going to interview, how to behave, what to do, what not to do. But when they become comfortable, they change. They forget everything, that what they need to do and what they don't need to do. When they feel that the interviewer panel is basically, treating them as very close and very comfortable, the things change, and ultimately you get the benefit. You come to know the real candidate, what the candidate is.
One last, a bit of a twister. You said you had to fire one person because of a harassment charge. So there also this theory kind of, got an exception, that when you say, that by love and all, the volunteers can get better. But there you probably had to take a decision right away. There was no like a second chance should be given. It was kind of a beyond threshold or something. So no chance should be given, and that time you did go beyond that loving attitude and said, okay, let's do some strict disciplinary action. So when you were interviewing that guy, or I'm not sure if you interviewed or your partner interviewed, could you see any traits or something that led to that, or it was like completely out of surprise that you got that complaint?
Yes, sir, we do get candidates whom within 5 minutes we find that this candidate is not worth our organization. Point number one. Point number two, I like to respond you, which my mistake, I didn't tell you before this thing, that in our organization, we very much clarify one thing to the candidate. You can do 100 mistakes and learn. Here, no one is going to ask you any question. But indiscipline means doing something intentionally is not tolerated in this organization. And if you do any act of indiscipline, you are out within 5 minutes. So of course, it's not always with love, because we clarify this thing very at the first instance, that mistakes 100, no problem. Indiscipline once, no second chance, no sorry, no written apology, nothing. Although it has never happened, but everyone knows this thing, that in this organization, if we do any indiscipline, it will not be tolerated at all.
Correct. I mean, I say this in a different way. Skill can be taught. There might be a lot of mistakes in learning a skill, but discipline is a bit of a inherent thing. It was also something that we learn only, but it's not that discipline we can learn in a day or in a month or something. It's a very deep-rooted problem, and as an organization, I don't want to take a responsibility of you making you disciplined. Discipline has to be, like the basic criteria for us to even like keep on moving with you. So this is something, yeah, I mean, we align with that thought. The discipline is something in your hand, full control actually. And skill, obviously, you can learn, unlearn, make mistakes, other performance things happens, blah, blah.
Very
Very
correct,
good.
sir. In our organization, one more thing is there. If anyone is not selected, I mean, at the time of interview, in case you get 70 marks or above, you will be selected. If in case you get less than 70, you won't be selected. And we always tell them one thing, that in case you're not selected, we encourage you to apply again, which you can do immediately also. I mean, you got rejected, you can apply immediately also. And we tell them one thing, and that is fact, that if anyone comes second time, we have a system that don't open the data of the first interview. We feel that if we open the data of the first interview, we will be biased to take interview. And the candidate has come with some improvements. So we need not be biased. So we don't refer the data of the old interviews. We see them in a fresh angle. And till today, anyone who came second time got selected. Because in the first interview, they came to know, got themselves where they did mistake, and they improve upon themselves. So that is what I say, that in our organization, we tell everyone that you can come again.
Sure. Thank you, Mr. Deepak. Very good insights and learning from you. And hopefully other youngsters can learn a lot from you. Inder, you have a question? Okay, please.
Hello, sir. Hello, how are you, sir? Vishal, sir, and Nanda, sir. Sir, I have a small question. Like, what is the major role in your, what is of the discipline and manners? What is the main role in your
I couldn't get a question. I
institute?
couldn't get a question in there.
Sir, I wanted to ask, what is the major role of discipline and manners in your, what you have with
Organization.
organization? Yeah, right.
See, discipline plays a very important role in all organizations. It's not only in Bodhi Foundation. There is no such organization where discipline is not very important. Discipline is something.
No, I wanted to ask that what's the difference of manners and discipline?
Manners
What you
and
find?
discipline. Manners
Yeah.
and discipline. Okay. See, being well mannered is a part of, basically, I'll call it discipline. Manners is a part of discipline. Right?
Okay. So manners have different parts too also.
See, manner itself is not having different parts. Manner is a part of discipline in that.
Okay. Or part of the discipline. So discipline has second part.
Discipline has many parts, basically. It's not one. Discipline is not something one thing. Discipline is combined with so many things. So
Sir,
one of the
some
things-
of I would like to understand if you can
please.
some of them. No, I wanted to ask you, please give me
Examples.
share something.
Example.
Example you want to ask?
Yeah.
Yeah, surely I can give you example. No problem. Yeah, I think my camera has what is it? Camera.
Yeah, your camera is switched off, I think. There's a button.
Something happened. Yeah.
Yeah, now it's okay.
Yeah. No problem. I'll give you an example.
Yeah.
See, the teacher is talking to the students.
Okay.
Our discipline basically says that start the class in time, finish the class in time. And
Okay.
how, suppose one student is coming late,
Okay.
due to which the class is getting late. So this is basically indiscipline. Starting the class late is indiscipline. But to maintain the discipline,
Okay.
how the teacher is talking to the student, that is basically manners.
Okay.
Because along with teaching the student, we are teaching manners also. So how the teacher is behaving with the student, that is manners,
Okay.
which ultimately gives basically a space to the discipline.
Okay. So these are the two main factors.
So that is why I said that manners is a part of discipline. For a good discipline, you might need good manners. Because if you're not,
So in organization, we can say, in a organization or in a company, we can we can make our own such kind of rules that you have to follow. So that can be comes under discipline. If you are not following these things, you are indisciplined. Like we can make something kind of.
Yeah.
Is it
rules.
possible?
Rules,
Yes.
yes. Code of conduct. Like
So rules,
companies
rules
have
comes under
dress code,
discipline.
time, lot of things. Like sir was
Yeah.
saying,
Okay, sir.
you know,
I just
5-minute
wanted to ask this.
firing rule. Some companies may have 50-minute firing or 1 day firing or a week firing.
Okay.
So again, it's a discipline.
yes.
Okay. Yeah, sir. Thank you. I just wanted to ask this.
Okay. So we are out of time. So let's follow our discipline. So, thank you everyone for coming. Next week we'll have a new guest. Thank you, Mr. Deepak, for all your time, all your
Yes.
insights.
Thank you.
We'll
sir.
connect
Thank-
with you in a one-to-one.
Sir,
Chat
one
later.
more thing. One more thing. Is there something good discipline or bad discipline?
Anything about good discipline and bad discipline?
Is there anything kind of?
No. Bad discipline is no discipline.
Okay.
There is nothing bad discipline. There is nothing-
Indiscipline.
That is indiscipline. No discipline, indiscipline.
And good discipline, like you
No,
need
no.
to be
No,
somewhere at
discipline-
sharp 10 and you
in the-
went before 1 hour.
In the discipline is discipline. There is nothing good or bad in this.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can go 1 hour before or 2 hours before, but you have to go before the time. 1 minute before is also okay.
Okay.
Okay, thank you everyone.
So Vishalji,
Thank you.
thank you so much for inviting me, and I really enjoyed this evening. So thank you, Aritra Mukherjee,
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
because he was the first.
Sir, how did you like my service?
Hello.
How do you like my service? Actually, I got you in the meeting. That's why I am asking.
No, very good, because you are.
Thank
the
you, sir.
first time this, and I would have come a month back, but I never told you about my health. my health was not permitting me to come here.
Oh.
When I was telling it that I'll see later, that was basically my poor health at that time. So
Okay, no